Namaskaram to all of you. This is second class of communication skill. A poet who is seeing a lady who plays veena. The poet is seeing the lady playing veena. And the fingertip is almost to bleed. If once more if she does, then it may break and the blood may ooze out. So the poet is seeing the lady playing veena. So wonderful music, so wonderful. The eye of the poet says, ask her to stop, otherwise it may break, skin may break and blood may come out. So please ask her to stop. Who is telling? I. But ear says, the music is so wonderful, let her not stop. So two communication goes to your own mind sometimes. One says stop, other says continue. Then you are in confusion what to do. Because you should tell, based on these two arguments, you should decide what to do. Does it not happen to you many times? You feel like telling something, but your brain says don't do that. One of my neighbor met with an accident. He is in hospital. So first feeling which comes to you is go and meet him, right? In the hospital you have to go and meet him. That's the first feeling. Who communicates to you that feeling? Comes from your own mind. Your mind says go and meet him. But you cannot act. Then buddhi says not required. Today auto rickshaw strike. If you have to go, you have to catch bus. Heavy rush during this time. You cannot. Why to skip the office? Don't take leave. Let him also. He will recover well after a few days and then he will come back home and then you can meet him. Going to the hospital is not good. So many justifications will come from your brain. Your buddhi will tell don't do. Your mind says do it. Then what you will do? You will decide don't go and meet him. But how do you know he is going to come back? Krishna Rama Govinda, he will finish off there himself. And you will lose chance of meeting him next. So what happens? You have a brain which tells you don't do. Practically things will be assessed. But whereas your mind starts probing with emotions, throwing emotions to you and say that please do this, please do this. But your brain will say don't do this. And you are in confusion. And what will happen? At night, he will come to your dreams. Who brings that dreams inside you? Your Atma will tell. Because there is an Atma who is a judge. As soon as you do something, you will say, don't. You should not have done this. You will see nice murchi bhaji, your tongue will say, eat this. It will start watering. Then what you will do? Your buddhi will say, don't eat, because last week you ate and the next day you had severe stomach problem. Your tongue will not understand this. The tongue will start communicating as soon as it sees. No? Eye will see, nice smell. Murchi bhaji smell is all around. So nose also will prompt you, eye also will prompt you, tongue also will prompt you, and then you will start eating. But your buddhi will say no, and you will not listen. Somebody has to surrender. You will say, buddhi, keep quiet, it's all useless. Let me satisfy my 1-inch tongue. Don't worry about 36 feet stomach. The whole food pipe is 36 feet. Don't worry about it. You are not seeing it. Let us satisfy our tongue. And then you start eating. Somewhere you communicate internally and you will decide what to do, what not to do. Then, as soon as you finish eating, the half an inch, some people have longer tongue, forget about it. The half-inch tongue consumes the murchi bhaji and then you will start, oh, I should not have eaten that. As soon as it's over, you will think, oh, I should not have eaten that. This happens. Who makes you to say to you? Who communicates to you? No, mind tells you to eat and you eat. But internally, your Atma, Chaitanyam, Tejas, your life force energy, your aura, your chit tells you, no, you should not have eaten it. It will never tell you to eat or not to eat. It's like a judge who sits in the court. It will not tell you that don't do this or do this. When it comes to court, it will say, you should not have done this. Your Atma is like that. It will not intervene in every activity. But as soon as you finish doing it, it will say, you should not have done that. That's the judge. Judge always will tell you after the action is over, you should not have done this. Then nothing can be done. It's already done. Or it will tell you, yes, you have done wonderfully well. It's a good process. You have done it well. Both are possible. So there will be a communication between your Atma and the mind, either telling what the mind done is right, or it will tell you what the mind did is wrong. It will tell you what the mind did is right or what the mind did is wrong. Both will come. So communication happens to us internally many times like this. Imagine how much communication happens to you internally yourself. Your eye will start communicating, nose will start communicating, all indriyas will communicate, buddhi will communicate to mind, mind will communicate to buddhi, it will start conflicting, contradicting, arguing. Then action will come. And as soon as action is over, your Atma will start communicating to mind, you should not have done this. Or what you did is right. So how much communications happens internally? If your internal communication is perfect, clean, everything is right, a chance will never occur to you telling your Atma to your mind, you should not have done this. No chance available for such an argument between your Atma and mind. Then what will happen? All your actions will become perfect. When Mirchi Bhaji is seen, it is just seeing, but it don't even look at it. Your eye will see and say, ignore. No argument. It will not tell you that please eat it. No. Your tongue will not tell you to accept it. Then what will happen? There will be no contradictions afterwards. You don't have to communicate from your buddhi and say that last week it happened. All that is not required because you rejected in the first instance itself, right? So assume you are so good, no time, you have contradictions internally. I have to talk to my brother who is in Kerala. I feel like talking to him. The first emotional attachment, bringing all our earlier relations from childhood onwards. We played together, stayed together, we were so close, but I have not talked to him for last 1 week. All these informations will be from brain. It comes back and says, support my feeling, yes, you talk. But then from next moment, my brain will tell, Shashi Kumar, last month your telephone bill is 2,300 rupees. No. And if wife scolded you many times for that, you are making unnecessary calls. All this information again brain will come. And there will be two arguments. No, he is very close to me, talk to him. Don't call because last time telephone bill is more. What will happen? We have to, somewhere we have to balance. And then we don't call or we call. Assume we don't call. At night he calls me back and says that why you have not called me? So long I was waiting for your call. Oh, I should have called. Right? This happens to all of us. Every moment, every action we do. Assume no such occurrence happens and you are very good. That time, when there will be a conflict, only people will start arguing. If I am close to somebody, I will always agree with him, right? So if my Atma is not in conflict with mind, if my Atma agrees with whatever my mind does, or mind thinks only what Atma wanted to do, it will not do mistakes. Whenever mistakes only, Atma will tell don't do this. Judge, assume no crimes in the land. The judge, whatever case comes, he will say yes, you have done right. Okay, so there is no point of argument inside you. Then you are a good person. Your internal communication is very clean. Then whatever words comes out of you will be very perfect. Otherwise what will happen? We will use bad words, and as soon as the bad words comes out, your Atma will tell, no, you should not have told like this. You will get angry and scold somebody. Will you get satisfaction? The time of arguing or bargaining, the time of scolding somebody, you think that you are going to get a lot of satisfaction. But as soon as it's over, you will feel, oh, I should not have told this. Is it not? So what happens? After some time, your Atma will tell you, you should not have told this. Assume you don't use bad words. With nice words only you are scolding somebody. Is it possible? You are only talking nice words. No bad words comes out of you. Very clean person. Will there a chance for your Atma to tell you that you should not have done this? No argument between your Atma and mind. That means what? Your Atma and mind become so close. Good friends. They are not enemies. Sometime your Atma and mind will become enemies. Sometime your Atma and mind will become so close. Assume your mind and Atma become so close. Whatever words comes out of you, whatever actions you do, whatever communication you do will be perfect. That's what Lord Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Uddharet atmanatmanam atmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. Take your mind closer to Atma and make it closest friend. Your enemy is your own mind. Your friend is your own mind. Your enemy is your own mind and your friend is your own mind. And who is you? Your Atma. So keep your mind closer to you so that you will become very good. Clean mind. So what is essentially required? Clean mind. How do you clean? Vim powder and brush. Today go back home and then take some liquid Vim was also available, right? Clean. How do you clean? Where does the word comes from? Idea comes from mind, right? If your words have to be clean, what is to be clean? Mind has to be clean. If I am scolding somebody, bad words will comes from my mind. Bad words will come from my mind, right? That means I have stored a lot of bad words in me. So who is bad? I am bad. If somebody is scolding you, you think, oh, you have stored a lot of bad words in you. You have become very bad. When somebody is scolding you, that is what your reaction should be. Assume your father scolds you, then what you should do? You should ask him, how did you store all these bad words in you? And why you are giving me all these bad words? I will start storing it so that I can dump it on to my son next. Generations to generations like this. Whatever we hear will store in our mind and we start using that, right? Whatever we have only we can use it. If we don't have bad words, we cannot use bad words. So the word comes from the mind. Vak, mana. Vak is word, right? That comes from mind, mana. Vak, mana. And where the mind gets the words? While reading, while hearing, while smelling, while thinking, all that. Vak, mana, chakshu, srotra, grana, jihvaredo, buddhyagrati, sankalpame shuddhyandam. Either it can be from eyes or ear, smell, ideas comes from like that. And then you will start thinking internally. Not everything in the world we are learning from indriyas. Internally we know how to think. And then we will think and then collect a lot of bad information also. And good information also. Ideas will come like that. Creativity will come. When you think internally, things will start coming out. So the words comes from the mind and mind collects information from all these. You know, this is the sloka which every pujari is supposed to learn in the temple. Every pujari is supposed to have saptashuddhi. He is communicating to whom? All of us are communicating to individual, no problem. But he is a person who is communicating on behalf of you to God. And he does a mistake, finished, no? His communication has to be very clean. Not clean, God will not accept it. Unclean things are not acceptable to God. So who has to do? He has to be clean first. The priest has to be very, very clean. What he says has to be what he means. Anyway, he does not say anything. God does not hear anything, so wonderful, no problem. And what he says generally? What is the communication he gives to God? What are the things he chants sometimes inside the temple? Mantra. What is that mantra? Anybody knows? Anybody who belongs to some Pujari group, or you must have heard something, Rudram and all that. No. Have you heard Ekachame, Trishashchame? Heard or not? Yes? What does it mean? Ekachame, Trishashchame, Panchachame, Saptachame, Navachame, Ekadashchame, Triyodashchame. What does it mean? You don't know? Priest doesn't know? God doesn't know? So wonderful, no problem. Right, no? So communication makes no meaning. The person who communicates also doesn't know. You just ask some of the priests, what does it mean? Ekachame 1, Trishashchame 3, Panchachame 5, Saptachame 7. He is telling 1, 3, 5, 7, etc., etc. This is what? Arithmetic progression in mathematics, right? No? So he will tell arithmetic progression to God. And some God doesn't understand arithmetic progression, or he don't like. The next chapter. What is the next chapter? Geometric progression. Ekamcha, dashamcha, shatamcha, sahasramcha, ayutamcha, niyutamcha, prayudamcha, etc. Ekam 1, dasham 10. No? Ekamcha, dashamcha, shatamcha 100. Shatamcha, sahasramcha 1000. Sahasramcha, ayutamcha 10,000. Ayutamcha, prayutamcha 1 lakh. Vayutamcha 10 lakhs. Etc. goes up to 10 power 57 until he can take breaths. And what he will be thinking internally? Because he doesn't know the meaning of this, he will never think this. He will be thinking, my electricity bill was 240 rupees, today only the bill has come. If I don't go with 240 rupees, my wife will scold in the evening. So you will communicate something and you will think something else internally, right? Always it happens when you do. That's why it is called rituals. You just do something without thinking on that. So these communications will not reach where it has to reach if your mind is not clean. So therefore pujaris are supposed to be very, very clean. And that's why it is called the Sapta Shuddhi, in which it says word has to be very good. He need not dress up very good. Nice coat, suit, boot and all not required. You don't have to put lot of vibhuti or mala and all, that is not required. Word has to be good. Keyuranina bhushayanti purusham harana chandrojvalam na snanam na kusumam na vilepanam, etc., etc. It says vak bhushanam bhushanam. It is not that you taken bath or not is not important. How good dress you have is not important. You have a nice sari and all that. But the words which comes out will become sorry. All the time. Finished. You are not good. Not that ornaments what you wear is important. What is important is the words are important. Vivekananda is standing here beside you. Nice way, different way of dressing up, right? Entirely different style. He was walking in American street once. And the youngsters there, the hippies during that time, just pulled his turban from the back. And he turned back and asked, why gentlemen, why you are pulling my turban? So fabulous English he has got, wonderful English. Vivekananda's English is very good. These people never thought that this man can speak such wonderful language. They thought this is a normal person who is on the road. They never expected him talking like this. And these people asked, oh, you does not look like a cultured man, but your words are so very good. What does it mean? The words represents the culture, right? No? And he said, in your land, tailor makes a gentleman, in our land, culture makes a gentleman. If you dress up well, in America people will be granted as you are great. But in India, dress doesn't matter. It is the culture, the way you behave which matters. And culture comes from you cannot look at a person and say that how cultured he is. But as you get communication, you will know this man is very good. So communication has to be very good, clean, and for which what is to be clean? Your internal mind has to be very good. If your mind is not very good, whatever somebody will tell you, you will not understand in that style, you will understand in an